Hello there. Well, as many of you will know, a few weeks ago I made a video about Prince. Almost immediately after learning about his death, I realised it would be a good opportunity to talk about his beliefs as a Jehovah's Witness, because there was footage available showing or proving that he was a Jehovah's Witness. And I sort of expected the video to be popular, to get a lot of views, but 85,000 views in a month is quite astonishing. And what was interesting was that the majority of people commenting on the video were Jehovah's Witnesses, because I guess they jumped on YouTube to find out more information about Prince, perhaps wondering whether he was a Jehovah's Witness, and there was my video to greet them. So what resulted was some really quite interesting comments. So I just thought I'd do a video where I read comments from Jehovah's Witnesses on the Prince video, just to give us a glimpse into the JW reaction, because we've heard my reaction as an ex-JW, but perhaps for the sake of fairness, we should hear the other side. We should hear what Jehovah's Witnesses have to say about Prince's passing. Muzev88 says, "Say what you want to say about JWs, but you will never find a JW making a YouTube video to purposely disrespect someone else's religion and faith." Now, I guess it's just in the books and publications that they criticise other faiths. "They share their beliefs with others, but are never disrespectful. Seems to me like you just found an opportunity to bash on them for your own personal reasons. Kinda petty. My advice, use your time more wisely. Use your research for good to build others up and yourself. Thanks, Ms. Ev88. Tamzy Sassy says, "You are an idiot. Stop saying things you know nothing about, spreading lies." I'll try to take that on board, Tamzy. Urania Amaya says, "If you are proud of who you stand for now in the present, those books should not be behind you. Let's not be a hypocrite in what we believe. Let the past go, since you said it deprived you of getting gifts." I think she's referring to my comments about birthdays, and I stand by what I said about the fact that there really is no good reason to not celebrate birthdays, and therefore children who are raised as Jehovah's Witnesses are indeed being deprived of getting gifts, as Urania puts it. Missy, yep, that's right, says, "First of all, you look like you need to shave your face. Second of all, look like you need a good bath. A shower of about hour. All your misconceptions are very wrong about Jehovah's Witnesses. You sound like an idiot. Go do more Bible research before you can talk about anything. Anything, you're going to see who's the real ruler and judge that's Jehovah God. Read Psalms 83:18 over and over and over and over again." Thank you, Missy. Wee Martin says, "John, you are miserable lot. I am sad for you." Sorry to hear that, Wee Martin. Liam the Dude says, "I can hear you are not really glad or happy with Jehovah's Witnesses." Oh, that's a fantastic name, Jehovah's Witnesses. That would make my activism work so much more enjoyable if I could call them Jehovah's Witnesses. It's a shame, because we do nothing wrong. I can sense your frustration there, Liam. I hope you're feeling a little bit more positive now that you've had a chance to get over it. Daniel and the Lion's Den says, "Your life must be sad. Go and buy one at Best Buy." Thank you for that recommendation, Daniel. Yasmin Cosme says, "But why you have the books?" Yes, the books. I have them because I'm a Watchtower collector, and I am kind of a Watchtower geek. I'm fascinated by Watchtower history and Watchtower teachings and the way Watchtower teachings change over time, which for me is not evidence that this is God's organisation, because if God has an organisation, he shouldn't need to keep changing the teachings. And I view the literature and being able to use the literature in my videos as a fantastic tool for showing people how ridiculous and silly and in many cases harmful Watchtower teachings really are. So that's why I have the books. I don't have to agree with what's in a book in order to own it. LA November 2019 says, wow, you Jehovah's Witness haters are a pretty sick bunch of people. Is that sick in the cool way? Like sick, you know? Okay. I've been looking up Prince's faith since his untimely death, and I'm discovering a very misunderstood religion that is actually commanding my respect. But in my search, I keep running into people maligning Prince's faith and an unending ignorance. You all have this crazy axe to grind, clearly. Whatever your differences with this particular faith might be, just move on. If Prince, a man that always cut his own path in life, who was as intelligent as he was musically gifted, saw something in the Jehovah's Witness faith, then I'm betting on that horse. Get a life, John, you and the rest of your creepy kind. Thank you for that comment, LA November. It's interesting that you place faith in a religion based on which celebrities choose to endorse it. So good luck with that. Elton John tributes Dean Torkington. That's fantastic. What a brilliant name to be commenting on this. Says, you really haven't a clue. Look at the earth. Look at the prophecies. Sign of the times in Matthew 24. It foretells our time in great detail. You have an axe to grind. Thank you, Elton John tribute, Dean Torkington. I will look at the earth next time I get the chance to go into orbit, perhaps as a rocket man. You never know. As a Kota says, I just want to say, all of you anti-ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are really lame. Whatever your reasons are, you know in your hearts the truth is the truth. Jehovah has a reason for everything. The only group of Christians that actually live by Bible standards. Standards set in place for your protection. Is that too hard? God is not asking you to be perfect, but these comments are very disrespectful. Thank you for those observations, Aze Kota. Israel Chavez says, I guess this guy doesn't know what he is talking about. The Bible clearly talks about a resurrection of righteous, like unrighteous. So I don't know what his prof is based on. Sounds more like half-truths from his mouths. Rules are made for a reason, and you can practically do anything unless you get baptized. Then you can get shunned, because when you reach that point, it's expected for you to know the truth. Thank you for that comment, Israel. So I guess what Israel is saying is that it's not so bad that billions are going to die at Armageddon, because there's going to be a resurrection of the righteous and the unrighteous. But I guess Israel's confused because this resurrection of the righteous and the unrighteous has nothing to do with people dying at Armageddon. People who die at Armageddon are killed by God because they refuse to become Jehovah's Witnesses before the end comes. The resurrection of the unrighteous is a resurrection of those who die before Armageddon comes. In other words, they die before they get an opportunity to become Jehovah's Witnesses before the Great Tribulation starts. It has nothing to do with the billions of people who are in line for destruction when Armageddon strikes for the crime of not following the governing body. Doo Records says, all praise to the true God, Jehovah. This video isn't about Prince. It's about this guy's dislike for the organisation of the Jehovah's Witnesses. He is using Prince as a basis for it. I'm sure this isn't his first time expressing his dislike for witnesses either. Sorry if you had bad experiences within your congregation, but that doesn't change what is true. Don't try to put a spin on the truth, Mr. Cedar. I will try to bear that in mind, Doo Records. Amber Anderton says, couldn't be bothered to shave, shower, or comb your hair before making this video, huh? Thank you for that comment, Amber. Ceciliana Medeiros says, how have people who loses time speaking ill of faith of other trim go to do your only people unhappy, parsaguim other? Thank you for that. Pam Stewart says, after watching your what I thought started out as a well put together video on Prince, it quickly took a fast downward spiral. Then I recognised why. You, having been a former witness, like most always speak against Jehovah and his witnesses. Prince was an imperfect human being like us all, who found truth in God's word, the Holy Bible. He was not dupted, as you say. He was an intelligent individual who made his own decisions. It simply amazes me how people want to voice their personal attacks against Jehovah and his witnesses when they come to the conclusion they no longer want to serve Jehovah. But again, like Prince mentioned in one of his interviews, those kinds of statements only fulfill Bible prophecy. And for the record, we as a worldwide organisation love and respect the governing body, who have been relatively placed in that position by God himself. Thank you for that comment, Pam. Barak Hammond says, John, you are from your father the devil, spreading deceit and lies, slandering God's name. You are only spreading lies because you do not have God's Spirit to be strong and preach the truth. You are a lazy wolf in sheep's clothing. By the way, what religion are you? Do you belong to one of the satanic cults of Christendom? If so, you are already condemned. Well, Barak, you'll be pleased to know I am not in any religion of any kind, so hope that makes you feel a bit better. Sebastian Galemba says, I have one small question to you. Who gave you the right to deposit other as to their faith, religion, skin, colour, sex, etc.? No one. Listen to yourself alone. What foolishness you give others. Just people like you make me believe the bad interpreting something it may end up in such a way as to the Quran today. That's why we have bombers in this world who burn with a terrible hatred for other religions and so on. And I will add something at the end. You know what the difference is between you and the Prince? Let me inform you. Prince will be in millions of hearts for his work because he was worth it of that, and he always will be. A bit like L'Oreal, he's worth it. Like it. And after, you will be only clean sheet which never fills in because it was not worth it. Thank you, Sebastian. Leona Banks says, this man is an apostate. Most of these people who speak against Jehovah's Witnesses are people who have been disfellowshipped because instead of doing things God's way, they wanted to do things their way. They get angry and start to try to tear down Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyone who truly know what Jehovah's Witnesses are all about can see straight through this satanic individual. JW are not perfect, nor do they profess to be. They just expect everyone to believe what they believe or be massacred at Armageddon. However, they are the only ones, after much examination of numerous religions, who follow the Bible closer than any other organization. And this satanic man, who's on Satan's team, now knows it. Thank you, Leona. Visa Strong Rock and Roll Lover says, I can see clear that you are a disfellowshipped or an apostate, because the nasty way you talk against Prince and the JWs, also you are doing double sinning, knowing everything about the true God, Jehovah, because I can see the pile of JW's books behind your back, and you are using those for an evil purpose, the same way you will pay before God for twisting the truth, as your father the devil did in the beginning. Thank you, Visa Strong Rock and Roll Lover. Michelle D says, I think it's really funny that behind you, you have an entire library of every witness publication ever created. It's not actually every publication. I'm working towards that, but so far it's just kind of, a good percentage. You have more than my grandmother, who is the first in a 3-generation witness family. Yet you're bashing it. For some of those who talk about how much of their life they wasted in the truth, you guys still seem to waste an awful lot of your lives, poring over every Watchtower and Awake, and watching brand new broadcasts. Looks like it still has a pretty firm grip on you. When I left, I actually went out, did you? And did all the things I felt that I had missed out on, instead of complaining about it and wasting more of my life. Why don't you guys try something called moving on? Well, I guess in my way, moving on is not just acknowledging that the Jehovah's Witness religion isn't true, but helping lots of people to reach the same conclusion. Because after all, if they can figure out that they're in a cult, it gives them the opportunity to start life fresh without being hindered by harmful, corrosive indoctrination that could actually kill someone if, for example, they declined a blood transfusion. So lots of different people have different ways of moving on. Some people move on by turning their back on anything that might remind them of Jehovah's Witnesses. Others decide to move on through activism and by making a difference. Suzanne Tegroen says, you're an idiot, plain and simple. You have no idea what the heck you are talking about on the witnesses. You make them out to be freaks, and you're the freak. Thank you for that comment, Suzanne. I'm feeling energy there, so glad it's giving you something to get excited about. Tunsum Gideon Mwamboneke says, stop lying. I'm one of Jehovah's Witness, and I'm pursuing my higher education as I want. Stop spreading lies about witnesses. What do you gain from that? No matter what you say, your word is nothing compared to Jehovah's. His word will continue to be preached all over the universe, and people will accept the truth until the end of this system of things reach to its end. Rand, remember that Jehovah God loves you. That's why he is patient. Thank you, Tunsume, for those comments. I do sometimes get these comments where people say, why are you saying that Jehovah's Witnesses aren't allowed higher education? I'm in higher education, or I've been through higher education. And all I have to say to that is, congratulations that you've managed to go through college or university as a Jehovah's Witness. I managed to go through 2 years of college despite being raised as a Jehovah's Witness. But you can't say that that's the norm, especially when you have entire episodes of JW Broadcasting devoted to dissuading young people from going through higher education. Rhapsody86 says, you are giving false information. Didn't expect anything different though. and the governing body are not rulers, laugh out loud. If anything, they are more like slaves who work constantly, trying to help provide encouragement to people. Apparently, you feel you have been wronged somehow and feel the need to talk badly about Jehovah's Witnesses. Sorry you feel that way, Rhapsody. Paul Schreiber says, for someone who says he's not a Jehovah's Witness, sure spends a lot of time talking about them. We live in a world where you can believe in whatever you want, do whatever you want, and you go to heaven. It's an awesome idea. What's deadly is lightning to this guy. Thanks for that comment, Paul. Jordan Hills says, hey, Cedar, you didn't say openly why you are no longer a Jehovah's Witness. A bit secret about that, eh? And it's just on other videos, actually, if you just check. And why are you proud to say you were brought up as one? Don't remember saying I was proud to be brought up as one. Trying to sound like you know all about the religion. If you were still there, then you wouldn't be on this video running down Jehovah God and his people, would you? That's a good point. If I were a Jehovah's Witness, I wouldn't be making videos criticising Jehovah's. That's a very good point. Which shows you know nothing about Jehovah and his purpose. Don't quite follow that logic. Because I'm not praising Jehovah's Witnesses means I don't know about Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, got you. Xavier Thomas says, there is a big difference in what JWs believe and what people like John say they believe. If you want to know what JWs really believe and the real reasons for such beliefs, go to jw.org. Anti-JW discussions are full of lies and half-truths. Thank you for that comment, Xavier. It's probably worth pointing out that going to an organisation is not necessarily going to give you impartial information about that organisation. And the analogy I often use is if you want to find out whether a Lincoln is the best car to buy, you don't get that information off a Lincoln salesman. You know, there's not that there's anything wrong with Lincoln cars, but you find out what the best car is by doing objective research and listening to even people who've had negative experiences, for example, with Lincolns. So I don't quite follow this logic that is often trotted out, that if you want to have all of the information on Jehovah's Witnesses, the only place to find it is jw.org. Elisa Hall has this to say, you're an idiot. Build a bridge. You didn't like being brought up as a witness, but how about moving on and brush upon your knowledge of the adverse, if not deadly effects of blood transfusions while you're at it? But thanks for the clips of Prince praising Jehovah. These made me momentarily happy on what is a very sad day. It always intrigues me how Jehovah's Witnesses, when they're trying to justify the blood transfusion, they invoke the medical argument. So they try and suggest that if you take a blood transfusion, it's likely to have an adverse effect on you for whatever reason. Maybe it's contaminated, maybe it's not been screened properly, etc., etc. The reason why Jehovah's Witnesses refuse blood transfusions is not on medical grounds. Okay, let's just get that clear. They refuse blood transfusions because they say that's what it says in the Bible. In other words, they reject blood transfusions on religious grounds. So that even if there was, let's say medical technology was able to eradicate absolutely all risk of contaminated blood, so that all blood transfusions were 100% safe, Jehovah's Witnesses wouldn't then start accepting them because they refuse them not on medical grounds but on religious grounds. But it always intrigues me when Jehovah's Witnesses try to pretend that they're doing it for medical reasons, because quite frankly, if your life is in the balance and your only chance, your only shot at living on is to accept a blood transfusion, you take that shot, you take that gamble, because it's better than the alternative, which is to have no chance at all. But thank you anyway for that comment, Elisa. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Yakech Kire says, Mr. Cedar, actually, you were not ever a Jehovah's Witness. I was actually. You may know the content of the Bible. You may have been born to a JW family, but you don't grasp the one thing that makes a servant of Jehovah God. Good luck on figuring out what is that. You're not going to tell us. Alas, God attracts only those who truly want to serve him. Wink. Regards. That actually has always been something that's intrigued me, because there is indeed a scripture that says that you're only called to God if Jesus draws you, or something along those lines, which raises the prospect that all of the billions of people who will die at Armageddon for the crime of not being Jehovah's Witnesses are actually being killed by God because God has refused to draw them. Not for any fault necessarily on their part, but because God refuses to draw them to him. So, interesting issue there. David Salent says, this guy obviously doesn't like JWs for some reason. Actually, I love JWs, which is why I do the work that I do. It's Watchtower I have a problem with. Why else would he make up lies and bash the witnesses? Don't waste your time watching this moron. Thank you for that, David. Luke says, this video has a lot of lies in it that you can look up for yourself. I'm not a JW, but... I'm not a JW, but... after thorough investigation, they are the truth. And videos like this from Satan and anti-God ones ain't also truth. Bible warns of these types of people against truth and Jehovah. Be careful what you're running away from. Make sure you're running away from the right thing. I'm looking to have a Bible study because I know after investigation they are the true religion. Anybody who listens to this wacky girl is wrong. Luke, you sound like perfect material to become a Jehovah's Witness. Angela Moon says, apostate channel, run now! Thank you for that, Angela. Collie says, apostate trolls, YouTube is full of them, shaking my head. Like that, like shaking my head. D. Marie says, I was afraid this would be one of those videos. Your backdrop of old JW publications doesn't prove your alleged JW background. Yes, that's right, it doesn't prove it. I just collect Watchtower publications because I've had nothing to do with Jehovah's Witnesses. I only watched about 3 or 5 mins of this. However, you failed to show the scriptures to back up your misguided information. You know that JW's beliefs are all Bible-based. I won't go into defending JW beliefs against your uneducated comments, but you and I know this video was not about the artist named Prince, but about trying to refute his beliefs. Thank you for that comment, Dee Marie. Joseph Vivas says, I was sort of convinced to look at his videos and see what he says, but he is giving his perspective and not giving right reason behind what he says. He is full of it, so I'm not really going to watch his videos. If you provided non-omitted information, I could have believed you. Joseph, I'm sorry for not providing non-omitted information. Lawrence Canas says, you must be disfellowshipped, because if you are as smart as you are claiming to be about the JW, you know they are the only Christian religion who even want to take the name Jehovah, when all of Christendom wants to have very little, if anything, to do with the name Jehovah. JW are also the only Christian religion that refers to itself as the truth. I'm not sure about that. There is only one Jehovah. There is only one faith. There is only one baptism. Get away from me, you workers of lawlessness. Original. I didn't even know you. Thank you for that comment, Lawrence. Zesman says, JWs, steer clear of this apostate video. Warning in advance, it's complete rubbish. Thank you for that warning, Zesman. Kathleen Donnelly writes, I have only one comment. This man with endless books behind him that over the years have helped many to get a true understanding of the Bible. Prince knew that the Bible was the best and most reliable source. Just remember this. Prince was a genius, never a fool. This guy is an idiot with an agenda. As Wendy Williams has said, who was Prince's friend, take several seats, dear man. Just sit down. You will see as time goes on. That will tell you. May God be with you. Thank you for that comment, Kathleen. Friendly ending, may God be with you. Tanvir Ahmed says, laugh out loud. You are misrepresenting JW though, but cool bro, good for you. God bless you. Thank you, Tanvir. Jason is it arc or arse? I'm going to pronounce it arse. Jason says, once again, someone who doesn't have a clue about someone else's religion. Can't keep his facts straight, not even for 3 minutes in the video. If you don't know what you are talking about, then keep your mouth shut, pal. Thank you, Jason Arse. Milo the Seeker says, anyone, JW, can prove you wrong. You are a coward and a liar. It is very sad to listen to you if you raised as a JW. I'm sorry for your parents, they must be very sad. I will pray for you. You are misguided and you try to misguide others, sad face. Milo, I'm sorry you're feeling sad. I hope that with time you've been able to cheer up a bit. Fabra Lewandowski says, so stop getting yourself up in arms. You don't even know us, do you? Maybe you should. Try it. It would hurt you. I am study right now, so I can be Baptist to become one of Jehovah's Witness. You breaking my... I'm worried that Fabra, something tragic might have happened while he was or she was writing that. I have no idea. I hope, Fabra, if you're watching this, I hope you're still alive and well. Chase Janice writes, I can't wait to see all people that don't believe in this see that we were all correct. Jace, I can understand those sentiments. I think you'll be waiting a while though. NYC Buzz says, your video does nothing but bash the organisation. What is your alternative? Think for yourself, don't be in a cult. What do you offer? Information. What hope do you provide for those seeking spiritual guidance? That they can get out of religion and not be indoctrinated? Are your teachings better than Christ's? I don't teach anything. Does this video offer enlightenment for those seeking the Creator and to learn about Him? From what I can see here is quite the opposite. Ask yourself if deep down inside your conscience, if this video provides anything positive. From what I can see, it's bitterness. Good day to you. And good day to you too, NYC Buzz. Well, that's just a selection of the comments. There were more, but I was mindful that if I read all of them, it would be an extremely long video. But I hope I've done justice to the JW perspective so you can see where they're coming from. Unsurprisingly, they weren't too happy, I don't think, with my criticising the organisation. But hey, that's pretty much what my channel does. So I hope they can come to terms with it eventually. Anyway, I hope you have found this video interesting or funny or in any way entertaining, and thank you for watching.